On behalf of the Future of Free Speech and the Center for Democracy and Technology, it is my great honor to welcome you all to this symposium on artificial intelligence and the First Amendment, protecting free speech in the AI era. So my name is Mchangama. I'm the CEO and founder of the Future of Free Speech. We're an independent think tank located at Vanderbilt University. Our focus is on fostering a resilient global culture of free speech, and we're thrilled and honored to collaborate with CDT, whom you all know as a leader in advancing civil rights in the digital sphere. And I'd like to thank all of you, not least our speakers today, for taking the time to participate in this event today. I think our symposium today is devoted to one of the most crucial issues for the future of free speech, AI, and particularly generative AI. So in less than 2 years, generative AI has rapidly evolved from a niche tool to a groundbreaking technology poised to revolutionize our world. Generative AI is integrated into search, word processors, emails, and countless other applications that mediate human interactions with the ecosystem of information and ideas. And I think it's no exaggeration to say that we're confronted with the most groundbreaking invention since the Gutenberg Revolution brought us the printing press. So consider this: from 1462 to 1500, the number of European printing workshops increased from 4 to 1700. And in that period, European printers produced around 13 million books. So in half a decade, more books were printed than scribes had produced in a millennium. Today, there are more than 5 billion people online users, and with LLMs, each user could, with a few prompts, produce several books or publications a day, every day. So that's the scale. And in fact, I think it's a good bet that the number of term papers generated by ChatGPT already exceeds the output of medieval scribes. So in terms of quantity, I don't think there's any doubt that generative AI facilitates speech at an unprecedented scale, supercharging the already exponential leaps in available information made possible by the internet and social media. But what about the quality of AI-generated speech? Can we trust AI systems to avoid the worst forms of hallucinations and provide accurate information to improve our critical thinking and bolster our creativity? Or will AI systems be incentivized to prod our dark sides and supercharge propaganda, sensationalism, and hatred? Will governments or companies weaponize AI systems to combine conformity, censorship, and surveillance? And how can we ensure proper guardrails without the cure becoming worse than the disease, undermining hard-won First Amendment freedoms that most Americans take for granted, but that were not always protected for everyone in this country? So since the Athenian democracy some 2,500 years ago, free speech has been closely aligned with democracy, or at least representative government, and these two values have prospered and suffered together ever since. This is also true in the 21st century, where we're living through a global free speech and democracy recession. And so the question becomes, will generative AI help reinvigorate free speech and democracy? Do we need a new conceptual framework for free speech in this age? Or do fundamental rights such as the First Amendment, international human rights norm, provide a framework that is suitable for the rapidly evolving ecosystem of information and opinion that we're trying to navigate the best we can? Also, what should companies' role be in preserving free and equal speech? And how can civil society contribute? These are some of the questions that I hope the distinguished list of panelists and speakers can help us think more clearly about. But it's true that politicians and regulators in the US and abroad are already busy molding the matrix that could govern generative AI and its impact on the future of free speech. President Biden's State of the Union highlighted the need to harness AI's promise while protecting us from its perils. Over 400 AI-related bills are in progress across US states. The EU's AI Act sets a significant precedent for countering systemic risks, whatever that means. And I think it's no exaggeration to say that current debates and regulatory initiatives are more focused on preventing harms than ensuring the benefits of AI. Sort of the techno-optimistic internet freedom paradigm that dominated American law and foreign policy from the 1990s until very recently has waned, and techno-pessimism spread. and the fears of democracy being washed away by a tidal wave of synthetic disinformation and deepfakes dominate many of the headlines and much of the impetus behind regulation. And of course, concerns about new communications technology is nothing new. The printing press saw some pretty prominent examples. So that's even by people who benefited a lot, like Erasmus of Rotterdam, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who thought that the printing press was something to be feared and potentially even banned. New York Times was not too happy about the transatlantic telegraph in the 19th century. It was superficial, sudden, unsifted, too fast for the truth. Broadcast shortwave radio and the beam program of subversive and revolutionary propaganda was something that was discussed at the United Nations after World War II, with many initiatives to ensure that disinformation would not spread too much. And I think it's also safe to say that attitudes towards the internet has changed over the past decade or so. But I think it's also true that generative AI might be a game changer. It's the first time in human history that new communications technology does not depend, or at least depends very little, on human input. A scribe needed to combine his brain and hand to put legible writing on papyrus. The printing press relied on the proper ordering of movable type. Radio conveyed whatever sounds humans broadcasted. And even social media platforms depend on user-generated content, even if algorithmic distribution determines the reach. But generative AI is different. Based on a few prompts, the AI system can deliver persuasive arguments. It can reason and perform what to humans appear as critical thinking about complex issues. And the capabilities, of course, are only becoming better and more sophisticated. So this may be one of those times where history not only does not repeat itself, but doesn't even rhyme. But whatever the future of free speech in the age of AI, I think our best chance of making it one that benefits our species is to engage with these difficult issues head on. So I hope that this symposium will be characterized by a spirit of curiosity, inquiry, and intellectual humility. These traits have served humankind well before, and if generative AI can be harnessed to supercharge these characteristics, I think our future may end up looking very bright indeed. Before we start, a few housekeeping notes. There will be 4 panels of around an hour and 15 minutes each. Lunch will be provided after the second panel, where informal discussions can take place out in the lobby. We will conclude around 3:45 p.m. I should also say that the event is being recorded and will be shared later. During Q&A, please line up. We have 3 mics, I believe. Yeah, you can see them in the room. And with that, it is my great pleasure to give the floor to Kate Ruan, the director of CDT's Free Expression Project. Kate, you'll introduce the first panel. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.